Welcome back, space dreamers. Tonight, we journey far into the future, to a time when humanity has reached beyond the stars. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and let your imagination travel. Feel a gentle warmth envelop you, not the harsh blaze of an open flame, but a deep, profound heat that resonates within your very being. Like a blanket woven from starlight, soft and pervasive, you are drifting, weightless, in an impossible ocean of radiant energy. Slowly, from the shimmering haze of stellar plasma, a vision emerges, a colossal structure not built upon a world, but suspended within one. This is Solara, the core city, a testament to endurance, thriving in the very belly of a dying red giant star, Ignis Prime. Around you, the star's inner currents flow with a majestic, unhurried grace, a silent symphony of plasma and light, a breathtaking display of raw cosmic power held at bay. Yet here, amidst this volatile heart, Solara floats, a multi-layered marvel of engineering and indomitable will. Its outermost energy shields shimmer with a soft, protective glow, a cold cyan barrier against the tumultuous inferno that could, at any moment, consume it entirely. This is not a dream of quiet solitude, but of profound connection to the universe's grand, slow dance of creation and decay. Allow the sheer audacity of this existence to settle in your mind. Breathe in this improbable reality, this whispered secret of cosmic survival. Feel the low, resonant thrum of the city's lifeblood, drawing its sustenance directly from the stellar forge surrounding it. A constant, gentle pulse beneath your awareness, a lullaby of stellar energy that has cradled generations of luminari. The atmosphere here is one of serene power, a delicate balance maintained by unseen forces and unimaginable technology, where the impossible has become home. Moving deeper, your perception sharpens. Solara reveals itself as a network of vast, concentric rings, each layer a world unto itself, humming with purpose. Pathways of glowing data stream across its surfaces, tracing intricate patterns that speak of an advanced, integrated consciousness. The city's internal architecture is a symphony of geometric forms, seamlessly blending organic curves with sharp, precise angles, all bathed in the cool, ethereal light generated by its own power conduits. These are not artificial suns, but captured stellar energy, filtered and tamed, giving life to its towering structures and expansive plazas. You glimpse the luminari, the people of Solara, not in sharp detail, but as fleeting, graceful silhouettes, moving with unhurried grace through translucent walkways and vast, open spaces. They are guardians of this impossible sanctuary, their existence intricately woven into the rhythm of the star itself. Their unique way of life is one of quiet contemplation and shared purpose, a constant dialogue with the forces that sustain them. The air, though warm, carries a faint, clean scent, a reminder of the elaborate atmospheric processors filtering every breath within this stellar cradle. Every element here, from the largest energy conduit to the smallest dwelling, seems to resonate with a quiet, powerful energy, a reflection of the star that hosts them. As you settle into the rhythm of Solara, a deeper understanding begins to unfold. This city, though vibrant and self-sustaining, exists in a delicate balance. The beauty of Ignis, Prime's dying heart, the majestic, slow swirl of its inner plasma, the distant, soft hues of evolving gases, is undeniably captivating. A cosmic masterpiece unfolding at an unthinkable scale. Yet beneath this awe-inspiring spectacle lies the immutable truth. Ignis Prime is a star in its final, red giant phase. Its immense power, a fleeting resource. Solara draws its life from this slow decay, a parasitic symbiosis where life thrives within the inevitable end. The city is a living organism, constantly repairing, adapting, its very structure responding to the subtle shifts and tremors within its stellar cradle. This underlying tension, however, is not one of panic or despair, but of profound acceptance and quiet vigilance. The Luminari live with a deep respect for their host star, understanding that their future is intrinsically linked to its final breath. There is a subtle hum of advanced energy fields, a constant, almost imperceptible pulsation that ensures their continued existence, a gentle reminder that their home, while seemingly eternal, is but a fleeting ember in the vast, cold night. The impossible peace you feel here is born from this conscious awareness, a tranquility found in the face of ultimate, grand cosmic forces. The stars are waiting. If you enjoyed this voyage into tomorrow, subscribe for new journeys every week. Tell us in the comments where you would like to explore next. Sleep well, stargazer. The quiet hum that permeates Solara is not just a sound, but a pervasive, almost physical sensation. It's the whisper of immense power, the low thrum of the stellar forge, tamed and flowing through the city's very veins. This constant vibration, gentle and deep, becomes a fundamental rhythm, a reassurance. Through the translucent floorings and walls, shimmering patterns of captured energy pulse, visible traces of the star's bounty being carefully drawn in, refined, and distributed throughout the concentric rings. These are the lifeblood pathways, not mere conduits, but living energy weaves that flex and glow with an inner light, feeding the towering structures and the tranquil plazas alike. The light within the city shifts subtly in response, a soft, ethereal dance of cool cyan and violet, reflecting the ebb and this harnessed power. As the energy weaves pulse, you begin to discern movement that is not random, but deeply purposeful. Figures of the luminari, no longer just graceful silhouettes, sometimes pause near these luminous pathways. They do not interact with grand, complex consoles, but with subtle gestures, a hand resting lightly on a glowing surface, a quiet focus in their posture. It seems they are not merely observing the data streams, but participating in them, a silent communion with the city's consciousness. Small, intricate patterns of light respond to their presence, blooming briefly on the crystalline surfaces before fading back into the continuous flow. This interaction is a dance of stewardship, a testament to their profound, almost symbiotic relationship with Solara itself, maintaining its delicate balance not with force, but with understanding. Venturing further, the city reveals pockets of profound tranquility, sacred groves not of soil and plant, but of sculpted light and shimmering atmospheric gases. These stellar gardens are vibrant havens where filtered starlight, imbued with specific spectral qualities, nurtures unique bioluminescent flora. The air here carries a subtly different aroma, a sweet, earthy scent mingled with the clean coolness that pervades the city. Delicate, luminous strands of plant-like structures glow with soft internal pulses, their slow, rhythmic breathing visible in the gentle undulations of light. It is a reminder that even within the heart of a dying star, life finds a way to blossom, meticulously cultivated and sustained, a testament to the luminari's reverence for all forms of existence. The quiet hum that permeates Solara, usually a flawless symphony, experienced a momentary, almost imperceptible hesitation. A specific energy weave, one of the primary conduits leading to the deeper sectors, dimmed for a breath. The cool cyan flickering towards a warmer, unstable amber before swiftly reasserting its serene rhythm. It was a fleeting anomaly, easily dismissed by the casual observer. Yet, to the keenly attuned luminari, it was a discordant note in Solara's steady song, high above the pulsing energy pathways, within a serene observation chamber carved into the city's highest ring. Alara felt the tremor. Her gaze, usually fixed on the distant, shimmering core of Ignis, prime visible through the chamber's shielded viewport, now sharpened, drawing inward. The fleeting ripple in Solara's internal rhythm resonated with faint, almost subliminal data streams that spoke of an accelerated stellar decay, a subtle echo of the stars growing unrest far below Alara's celestial vigil. Amidst the intricate sublevel conduits where raw stellar energy was first refined, Kale, a city engineer, frowned. He didn't feel the stars' distant shudder as Alara did. His focus was on the city's immediate diagnostics. A holographic schematic, shimmering above a control panel, displayed a brief, localized energy fluctuation in sector Gamma-7. His hands hovered over the luminous interface, ready to initiate a recalibration. Seeing it as a minor, solvable infrastructure stress rather than a cosmic warning, Alara moved with a quiet purpose through the hushed chambers of the Stellaris. Solara's dedicated deep-core exploration vessel. Its internal luminescence, usually a cool azure, pulsed with a readiness protocol. A warmer, gentle thrum indicating systems check. Her specialized suit, a flexible, layered membrane designed to withstand unimaginable pressures and heat, felt like a second skin, comfortable and reassuring. On the main console, holographic schematics of Ignis Prime's turbulent core spun slowly, highlighting potential anomalies with soft, shimmering markers. The silence within the vessel was profound, broken only by the whisper of recycled air and the almost imperceptible hum of dormant engines awaiting activation. This moment of serene preparation was a ritual she knew well, a calm before the journey into the heart of their cosmic parent. With a barely felt tremor, the Stellaris disengaged from its docking cradle, a silent guardian moving into the vastness of Solara's internal cavern. The city's layered architecture, normally a complex tapestry of light and structure, slowly receded above them, its cyan veins of energy weaving into the distant, luminous ceilings. Below, the main descent shaft opened, a colossal tunnel bored directly towards the core, its shimmering walls reinforced by invisible energy fields. The cool, ambient light of Solara gradually began to shift, tinged now with a distant, deep amber glow that bled from the star's deeper layers. A subtle reminder of the immense energies that embraced their unique sanctuary. The journey had truly begun, a slow, deliberate drop into the unknown, a final, almost imperceptible shimmer rippled across the Stellaris viewports as they passed through Solara's outermost energy shield, the veil, separating the regulated calm of the city from the raw, untamed forces of Ignis Prime. The distant amber glow, previously a gentle hint, now intensified, washing the cavern walls in a rich spectrum of reds and oranges that pulsed with the star's slow, ponderous breath. Fine streams of plasma, like molten tendrils, began to trace intricate, ephemeral patterns on the shielded outer hull, their dance captivating and unsettling. The vessel's internal hum subtly deepened, a resonant frequency matching the star's vast internal song. A constant, low thrum felt deep in the bones, rather than heard by the ear. They were no longer merely within the star. They were part of it, enveloped. The Stellaris continued its slow, deliberate advance, now approaching a colossal, inert structure that seemed to grow organically from the very fabric of the red giant's core. Unlike the turbulent plasma around it, this immense formation was a bastion of stillness. Its deep, obsidian surfaces absorbing the star's ambient amber glow, giving it an otherworldly, almost ancient solemnity. This wasn't a natural geological marvel, but an undeniable artifact of advanced design. Its intricate, smooth contours whispering of a civilization that mastered stellar forces, a massive, arching gateway, dormant for countless millennia, began to pulse with a faint, deep cyan luminescence, a low, resonant hum vibrating through the ship's reinforced hull, signaling an ancient system stirring to life. The vessel paused, its silent form hovering before the immense threshold, a guardian entering a forgotten sanctum. The abrupt shift from the star's immense, swirling energies to the quiet, dignified presence of this relic was profound. A sudden plunge into deep time where geological epochs felt like mere moments. With an almost imperceptible nudge from its thrusters, the Stellaris eased through the reactivated gateway, passing beyond the shimmering cyan threshold. The turbulent plasma and amber light of the star immediately gave way to a vast, perfectly preserved chamber, an immense void of profound stillness. Its colossal walls, crafted from the same dark, absorbing material as the exterior, were now alive with faint, interwoven patterns of soft violet and deep cyan light, appearing to draw latent energy directly from the stellar environment and hold it in perfect stasis within this enclosed pocket. This was no mere cavern carved from stellar matter. It was an intricate, self-sustaining ecosystem of engineered quietude within chaos, a grand testament to unimaginable ancient technology. Floating through the serene, silent space, the ship's internal lights cast long, languid shadows on the intricate, geometric carvings that adorned every surface, hinting at complex narratives, forgotten scientific principles, or perhaps an ancient language expressed through pure form. The air within this enclosed void felt cool and utterly still, a stark and comforting contrast to the surrounding stellar maelstrom, a profound sensory shift that deepened the mystery of their discovery. Delicate, almost invisible energy conduits pulsed beneath the surface of the walls, feeding the chamber's tranquil light. Deeper still within the sprawling chamber, the Stellaris approached a central, colossal platform, which seemed to float weightlessly in the immense space, bathed in a gentle, rhythmic, pulsing cyan light that permeated the very air around it. Upon this grand platform rested a series of crystalline formations, impossibly large and perfectly arranged, each one radiating a low, resonant frequency that echoed a profound, ancient harmony. As the ship drew closer, faint, shimmering holograms flickered into existence around them. Not data displays in the modern, digital sense, but ethereal, artistic depictions of stellar genesis, ancient star charts, and abstract energy flows, swirling and interweaving with graceful precision. It was an archive, unlike any they had encountered. Information conveyed through pure light and vibrational resonance. A silent echo of a civilization that communicated not through words, but through direct, energetic expression. The discovery felt less like an unearthing of dead records, and more like a gentle awakening of dormant knowledge, a living library waiting to be understood. Subtle gravitational anomalies rippled around the platform, suggesting an unseen power source, holding the entire assembly in perfect, timeless suspension within the star's core. The sheer elegance of the information transfer, conveyed without language, was breathtaking, a testament to a lost art of understanding. The Stellaris, a mere mote of dust against the immensity, drifted further, its sensors now detecting a profound resonance, an echoing hum that seemed to emanate from the very fabric of the chamber itself. The violet and cyan patterns on the walls began to converge, guiding the vessel towards a deeper, grander threshold. Slowly, a new space unfolded before them, not an empty void, but an opening into a truly colossal, structured expanse. Here, the subtle fiery reds and oranges from Ignis Prime's distant, churning core were finally visible through a colossal, shimmering energy field, revealing what could only be the outermost protective layers of a city vast and complex beyond comprehension. Suspended in the impossible heart of a star, this was Solara, the core city, a testament to enduring ingenuity, floating serenely amidst the star's turbulent heart. Its colossal, multi-layered architecture spiraled outwards, each tier a symphony of dark, absorbing materials intercut with vibrant, crystalline conduits that pulsed with harvested stellar energy, a delicate yet powerful energy shield, a visible membrane of shimmering cold blue, enveloped the entire metropolis, deflecting the chaotic plasma streams that swirled beyond its protective embrace. Through its translucent surface, one could glimpse the internal, tranquil atmosphere of the city, a stark contrast to the volatile cosmic environment, a beacon of engineered quietude within one of Solara's deeper, less frequently maintained sectors, where the light was a softer, warmer cyan, and the hum of machinery was a constant, almost comforting presence. Kale stood before a primary energy conduit, unlike the newly installed, brightly glowing pathways in the city's higher districts. This section showed its age, almost imperceptible flickers ran across the conduit's surface, tiny hesitations in the steady flow of power. Like an ancient heart skipping a beat, his fingers traced a worn seam, the material cool beneath his touch, a silent testament to centuries of tireless operation. A fine dust, not cosmic, but mundane particulate from within the city's own aging systems, had settled into the intricate crevices of the paneling, a quiet signal of decay. The Stellaris, now a shimmering beacon against the immense cosmic canvas, paused delicately before the colossal, protective membrane of Solara. Its sensors registered the subtle hum of the energy shield, a visible field of shimmering cold blue that pulsed with silent power through its translucent surface. The distant, turbulent fiery reds and oranges of Ignis Prime's core were a muted backdrop, a constant, beautiful threat. The outermost layers of the city unfurled before them, a breathtaking display of multi-layered architecture spiraling outwards. Each tier was a symphony of dark, absorbing materials, intercut with vibrant, crystalline conduits that pulsed with a steady, harvested stellar energy, a silent testament to enduring ingenuity floating serenely amidst the star's turbulent heart. With a barely perceptible tremor, the Stellaris began its slow, deliberate traverse through the cold blue membrane. It wasn't a gate or a physical opening, but a field of energy that parted, then resealed around the vessel like water around a stone. Inside, the turbulent reds and oranges of the star's core were further softened, becoming a distant, warm glow through deeper protective layers. The ship entered a vast transitional zone where the outermost architectural layers of Solara loomed. These were colossal, geometric structures of dark, absorbing alloys, their surfaces etched with lines of soft cyan light that guided the vessel deeper. The air within this enclosed space felt cool and utterly still, a profound sensory shift from the external stellar maelstrom, hinting at the engineered quietude within. Deeper still, the transitional zones gave way to expansive internal plazas, colossal and silent, stretching beyond the immediate view. Here, the true scale of Solara began to unfold. Overhead, intricate networks of crystalline conduits pulsed with soft violet and cyan glows, weaving across the ceiling like glowing data streams, illuminating the vast spaces with a gentle, ambient light. Below, sleek, dark city vehicles, almost imperceptible in their movement, glided along unseen pathways, their soft, internal lights adding to the serene glow. The air was calm, carrying no discernible sound, yet the subtle flow of energy and the ordered, quiet movement hinted at a thriving, advanced civilization, a testament to the Luminari's ability create a profound quietude amidst the most volatile cosmic environment. The Stellaris continued its unhurried glide through the vast transitional zone, each meter traveled deepening the sense of profound enclosure. The colossal geometric structures, initially distant, now loomed on all sides, forming canyon-like passages of dark, absorbing alloys. These weren't mere walls, but intelligent surfaces, subtly adjusting their energy absorption rates, a silent, intricate dance with the surrounding stellar energies. The soft cyan lines that etched their surfaces now seemed to throb with a deeper, more internal luminescence, guiding the vessel through a labyrinth of engineered quiet. It was an environment designed for resilience, a testament to a civilization that had mastered the art of coexisting with a cosmic leviathan. The deep passage curved gently, revealing an even grander scale of internal engineering. The massive, dark alloy structures began to give way to colossal, translucent panels, infused with a network of glowing conduits that shifted in hue from deep cyan to a richer, softer violet. These weren't mere architectural elements. They were living surfaces, part of Solara's self-repairing metabolism, subtly pulsating with the ebb and flow of collected stellar energy. The Stellaris drifted through vast, open voids, punctuated by these luminous membranes, creating an illusion of infinite depth within the confined space. Far above and below, intricate lattices of light, like glowing spiderwebs, indicated unseen layers of the city, hinting at an entire world built vertically, layer upon suspended layer, each supported by the harnessed power of Ignis Prime. A new, subtle sensory input emerged, a soft, rhythmic hum, almost subliminal, a vibration felt more than heard, resonating through the hull of the Stellaris. The Stellaris slowly merged into the colossal central shaft, its designated trajectory guiding it smoothly into the flow. Here, the sheer density of engineered wonder was amplified. The walls of the shaft were not solid, but dynamic energy fields, shimmering with a controlled, contained stellar plasma that cast vibrant, shifting hues across the vessel's hull. The soft violet now mingled with fleeting flashes of deep crimson, a reminder of the star's untamed power held at bay. This was the true conduit to Ignis Prime, a direct artery where the raw energy was actively processed and distributed throughout Solara. The journey through this arterial core of the city was a descent, a slow but resolute plunge deeper into the heart of the star. The Stellaris continued its unhurried glide through the vast transitional zone, each meter traveled deepening the sense of profound enclosure. The colossal geometric structures, initially distant, now loomed on all sides, forming canyon-like passages of dark, absorbing alloys. These weren't mere walls, but intelligent surfaces, subtly adjusting their energy absorption rates. A silent, intricate dance with the surrounding stellar energies. The soft cyan lines that etched their surfaces now seemed to throb with a deeper, more internal luminescence, guiding the vessel through a labyrinth of engineered quiet. It was an environment designed for resilience, a testament to a civilization that had mastered the art of coexisting with a cosmic leviathan. The deep passage curved gently, revealing an even grander scale of internal engineering. The Stellaris moved with an almost reverent slowness through the antechamber. The resonant thrum, now a deep, foundational chord that resonated through every fiber of the vessel. At the far end of the immense space, nestled within a colossal basin, seemingly sculpted by eons of stellar forces, lay the ancient energy source itself. It was a monumental construct, not of sharp, angular lines, but of sweeping, organic forms, a vast crystalline formation of improbable size and intricate geometry, pulsating with a profound, internal ruby glow. This was no mere machine. It felt like a living heart, dormant yet intensely alive, radiating latent power that rippled the very fabric of space around it. A shimmering, almost imperceptible energy field enveloped the crystalline construct, causing the distant light of the antechamber to subtly warp and dance at its edges. A silent shield of immense power. There were no visible guardians in the conventional sense, but rather a network of swirling light patterns like sentient nebulae that orbited the central artifact. The profound ruby glow of the ancient energy source, previously a steady beacon, now began to deepen and subtly pulse with a more insistent rhythm. It was a slow, internal expansion, like a giant heart drawing a deeper breath. Around it, the sentient nebulae, those swirling patterns of light, started to quicken their intricate dance. Their ethereal forms, once gracefully flowing, now coalesced into more defined, agitated currents, weaving tighter spirals, their luminescence intensifying from a soft shimmer to a more vibrant, almost eager light. This agitation was not chaotic, but a focused, almost anticipatory energy, as if the very air within the colossal antechamber was thickening, becoming charged with an unseen force. The Stellaris, still holding its reverent position, began to respond to a shift in its environment. The subtle shifts in Ignis Prime escalated, growing from a foundational hum into a palpable, rhythmic pulse that permeated the antechamber, like the slow, immense heartbeat of the dying star itself. The distant, deeper currents of stellar plasma, usually filtered to invisibility by the advanced shielding of Solara, now became faintly discernible beyond the immediate vessel's viewport, swirling far away like ethereal, luminous storms. These were not chaotic bursts, but vast, almost geological movements of energy, their immense scale conveying the stars awakening on a grander, more terrifying canvas. Solara's outer energy shields, not directly visible from within the Stellaris, but an omnipresent aspect of the city's survival, now began their critical function in earnest. The narrative conveyed the feeling of these shields in action, a profound sense of immense, invisible pressure from the star's volatile core, being met with an equally immense, invisible resistance, a testament to the city's engineering. The city itself, Solara, observed through the Stellaris' long-range sensors, maintained its profound enclosure. The immense, rhythmic pulse that had permeated the antechamber, the very heartbeat of Ignis Prime, began to subtly recalibrate. It was not a sudden cessation, but a slow, profound shift, like a giant exhalation settling into a deeper, more resonant hum. The distant, churning currents of stellar plasma, once swirling with an almost frantic energy beyond Solara's advanced shielding, now appeared to slow their grand, luminous dance. Their ethereal forms, previously agitated and coiling, now stretched out into vast, majestic ribbons of light, their vibrancy easing from an eager intensity to a sustained, powerful glow. The air within the colossal space, which had felt charged and thick with anticipation, gradually softened, its unseen energy settling into a state of profound equilibrium. Within the heart of Solara itself, the city's internal systems resonated with the star's profound shift. The intricate web of light conduits that laced through the city's multi-layered architecture, which had mirrored the star's previous agitation with pulsing intensity, now settled into a deep, unwavering glow of cyan and violet. This steady luminescence permeated the grand avenues and the quieter residential sectors, casting long, elegant shadows that danced subtly with the city's own serene rhythm. Automated maintenance drones, previously on high alert and darting with purpose through the city's veins, now resumed their routine, unhurried patrols, their operational hum a soft counterpoint to the city's quiet. In the vast, communal gathering spaces, luminary citizens who had withdrawn into their more shielded living quarters during the heightened stellar flux began to re-emerge. Their movements were slow, their gazes often directed towards the shimmering, filtered views of the star's core beyond the city's layers, as if collectively confirming the sustained stability. A sense of a long-held breath, slowly released, pervaded the very air of Solara, ushering in a subtle, palpable easing of collective tension as the transformed star, Ignis Prime, settled into its new, enduring phase, Solara began to unfurl previously dormant aspects of its colossal design. A new array of energy collectors, specifically engineered to harmonize with the star's altered spectral output, subtly initiated activation. These elegant, crystalline structures, nestled in previously dark chasms between Solara's colossal segments, began to thrum with a quiet, efficient power, drawing upon the new stellar energies not merely to mitigate decay, but to foster a symbiotic, sustained existence far in the distance. A previously unseen segment of Solara, a section that had always been present but unlit, began to bloom with a soft, internal glow. This nascent luminescence heralded the activation of a new district, perhaps one conceived and built with the profound understanding of Ignis Prime's ultimate transformation. It was a tangible mark of not just survival, but of a bold, forward-looking adaptation, solidifying Solara's future as a resilient civilization, forever entwined with the enigmatic heart of its cosmic cradle. The air itself seemed to carry the promise of this new dawn, a quiet hum of profound possibility. The profound stillness that had settled over Solara was not an absence, but a presence. It was the deep, resonant hum of a universe gently exhaling, a celestial breath drawn across eons, now held in serene balance. The intricate patterns of the city's energy conduits, once a frenetic symphony of light, now pulsed with a steady, almost imperceptible rhythm, like the slow, strong heartbeat of a slumbering titan. Cyan and violet light, no longer dancing with nervous energy, flowed through the grand avenues and the quiet residential sectors, painting surfaces with a dreamlike luminescence. Each beam, each soft reflection, seemed to whisper tales of resilience, of a civilization that had learned to not merely survive, but to flourish within the impossible embrace of cosmic immensity. The luminari, who had once known only the constant vigilance required by their volatile home, now moved with an unhurried grace, their steps light, their thoughts perhaps drifting towards horizons previously obscured by urgency. Families gathered in communal spaces, not with conversation, but with the shared comfort of silence, their gazes occasionally lifting to the shimmering, filtered views of the core. It was a core that still churned with unimaginable power, yet its essence now felt like a cradle, not a crucible, holding them in its vast, gentle palm. The very air, once thick with apprehension, now carried the subtle, sweet scent of contentment, a delicate perfume of peace woven from the star's newfound, fragile equilibrium. In the furthest reaches of the city, where the shield generators hummed their low, ceaseless song, the light from Ignis Prime seeped through in hues of burnished gold and deep crimson, a gentle reminder of the stars' enduring, majestic presence. It was a light that spoke not of threat, but of the eternal dance of creation and the slow, inevitable waltz towards transformation. Solara, once a defiant spark against stellar chaos, had matured into a sanctuary, a testament to what sentience could achieve when faced with the grandest of cosmic challenges. The hum of automated systems, once a counterpoint to urgency, now blended seamlessly with the distant, almost musical sigh of the stellar winds beyond the shields. Within the core of this dying star, a new form of life had not merely found a foothold, but had carved out a profound understanding of its place within the vast cosmic tapestry. They were the inheritors of an extreme environment, custodians of a fragile peace, their very existence a living narrative of humanity's boundless reach. The city itself, a living, breathing megastructure, seemed to lean into the star's rhythm, its multi-layered architecture absorbing and redistributing the vast energies with effortless grace. Every pathway, every glowing data stream, every intricate conduit now felt less like a functional necessity and more like an artery of cosmic consciousness, connecting the inhabitants to the beating heart of their impossible home. The lessons learned in the face of imminent stellar collapse had forged a deeper bond among the luminari, a quiet reverence for the universe's powerful, indifferent beauty. And as the gentle currents of stellar plasma continued their slow, grand ballet beyond Solara's advanced shielding, a profound quietude enveloped everything. It was the quiet of eons, the stillness of eternity, a soft whisper from the universe itself, promising enduring mysteries and endless wonders. The vibrant cyan and violet light within Solara softened further, blurring the edges of the city's geometric structures into a tender, luminous haze. Individual luminary figures, perhaps standing on a high observation deck or drifting through a tranquil energy garden, became mere silhouettes against the vast, shifting colors of the core, their presence a testament to life's persistent, quiet triumph. Their forms seemed to dissolve into the very fabric of the city, becoming one with its purpose, its peace, its profound connection to the dying star. It was a poignant reminder that even in the ultimate cosmic crucible, life finds a way, adapts, and thrives, learning to dance with the forces that shaped creation. The core of Ignis Prime, a place of unimaginable power and impending collapse, now cradled a civilization that had found its lasting peace, a quiet harbor in the heart of a cosmic storm. With each slow, deliberate pulse of the star, a wave of gentle energy washed over Solara, carrying with it the promise of endless, tranquil nights under the muted glow of their stellar parent. The The journey within Ignis Prime had not just been one of survival, but of profound transformation, leaving behind a legacy of quiet strength and a deep, abiding reverence for the cosmic dance of birth and decay. Forever etched in the starlight, the quiet reverence the luminary felt was mirrored in the very architecture of Solara. Gentle currents of energy, visible as soft cyan and violet light, coursed through the city's intricate conduits, a living circulatory system that drew sustenance directly from the stars' immense power. These glowing pathways were not merely functional. They were the city's pulse, a visible testament to the profound connection between the inhabitants and their stellar cradle, carrying warmth and life to every sector. Their soft luminescence painted the interior spaces with an ever-shifting, ethereal light, ensuring that even the deepest chambers felt vibrant yet subdued, a perfect balance for rest and gentle thought. Through these softly lit thoroughfares, the luminari moved with a quiet grace, their personal transports gliding almost silently on magnetic fields. These vessels, designed to echo the city's own elegant curves, absorbed and redistributed residual stellar energy, making every journey an effortless transit. One could observe them drifting like luminous pollen grains through vast, open atria, or along the enclosed crystalline tunnels that connected residential zones to research hubs. Their daily routines, though complex and highly advanced, unfolded within an atmosphere of pervasive calm. A gentle hum of technology, always present, but never intrusive. A lullaby woven from the very fabric of their existence. The city's very air, gently circulated and meticulously filtered, carried a faint, almost imperceptible warmth, a reminder of the colossal star that cradled them from the panoramic observation decks, shielded by multiple layers of energy fields. The distant core of Ignis Prime presented a spectacle of burnished gold and deep crimson. This filtered light, soft and mesmerizing, pulsed with a rhythm so ancient and vast it felt like the heartbeat of creation itself. It was a silent, grand display, the dying star's final, magnificent performance, absorbed and appreciated by a civilization that had learned to not just survive, but to truly thrive within its impossible embrace. Even as the city's heart beat with a gentle rhythm, the raw energies of Ignis Prime constantly threatened to overwhelm it. Solara's ingenious solution lay in its intricate energy filtration and stabilization system, a marvel of biomechanical engineering. Miles-long crystalline conduits, visible as colossal, interwoven arteries of light, drew in the star's turbulent plasma from the outer shielding layers. Inside these transparent pathways, specialized fields gently coursed the chaotic stellar forces, sifting and calming them with a graceful, almost dance-like precision. This process wasn't just about power generation. It was about transformation, turning a potentially destructive torrent into a serene, life-sustaining flow. Within these softly illuminated sectors, beyond the rhythmic pulses of the primary energy systems, lay the residential zones, a harmonious blend of organic curves and precise geometric forms. Dwellings were often seamlessly integrated into the living rock of the city's structure, their entrances marked not by conventional doors, but by gently swirling patterns of light that dissolved at a silent approach. Inside, spaces were designed to be open and fluid, maximizing comfort and fostering a deep sense of peaceful communion with their stellar home. A unique bioluminescent flora, specially cultivated to thrive on the filtered starlight, adorned communal gardens and private alcoves alike. These extraordinary plants emitted a soft, internal glow, their tendrils gently swaying in the imperceptible air currents, adding splashes of warm, shifting color, soft golds, rose pinks, and deep indigos. Against the predominant cool blue palette of the city's infrastructure, the luminari moved through these spaces with an innate tranquility. Their flowing, light-absorbing attire designed to complement the ambient luminescence, making them appear as extensions of the city's own gentle radiance. Deeper still, beyond the softly lit thoroughfares and serene living quarters, lay the contemplation conduits. These were vast, cavernous spaces, hollowed out from the densest, most shielded layers of Solara's substructure, designed specifically to resonate with the star's pervasive, stellar hum. Here, the omnipresent thrum of Ignis Prime, usually a subtle background presence masked by city systems, became a palpable, all-encompassing vibration. The walls of these conduits were not merely structural, they were crafted from a unique, acoustically resonant alloy, allowing the deep, slow pulse of the dying star to ripple through the very air. A profound resonance felt more in the bones than heard by the ears. Luminari often gathered here, sitting in quiet reverence on smooth, cool benches that seemed to float just above the floor, their forms silhouetted against the distant, shifting glows of power lines that hinted at the city's immense scale. This stellar hum wasn't just a physical phenomenon. It was considered the star's breath, a profound, resonant frequency that connected every being to the cosmic dance of creation and decay. The very air of Solara held a gentle hum, a resonance that was both sound and vibration, a constant reminder of the titanic forces held at bay. This was most palpable in the grand transit arteries that snaked through the city's deeper layers, where the primary energy conduits glowed with an intensified, yet yet still controlled cyan light. Here, the crystalline structures pulsed rhythmically, carrying the star's essence in liquid light form, warming the air just imperceptibly. Luminari traversed these arteries in silent, gliding vehicles, their forms elongated and sleek, designed to navigate the gentle currents of energy that defined these pathways. The vehicles themselves seemed to absorb and reflect the ambient light, creating ephemeral trails of softened luminescence as they passed. Viewing platforms, carved from the living rock, offered breathtaking vistas of these energy flows, mesmerizing in their predictable, undulating beauty beyond the active transit arteries, in areas designated for contemplation and research. The city's unique bioluminescent flora flourished with an even greater intensity. Here, vast botanical gardens, open to the central, filtered starlight, became sanctuaries of quiet growth. The plants, with their luminous tendrils and leaves, seemed to breathe in the star's faint, filtered rays, converting them into a kaleidoscope of gentle, shifting colors, golds that deepened into amber, rose pinks that bled into soft fuchsia, and deep indigos that bordered on violet. These living tapestries adorned curved walls and ceiling domes, creating an ever-changing celestial map of light within the city. Luminari scholars often congregated in these serene spaces, their faces illuminated by the multi-hued glow, engaged in silent study or quiet meditation. They sought to understand the subtle shifts in the star's energy, a distant, yet ever-present, pulse that resonated through their very being. Yet, even within this tranquil, meticulously balanced existence, there were moments of profound, almost imperceptible shift. On rare, sacred cycles, the city's foundational resonance would subtly deepen, a low thrum emanating from the very bedrock of Solara. It was not a sound that caused alarm, but rather a universal, shared sense of quiet, awe among the Luminari. During these times, the overarching field that shielded Solara from the star's most violent plasma flows would momentarily shimmer with a fractionally more intense violet hue, an almost imperceptible ripple across its vast, unseen surface. The energy conduits, though still pulsing with their predictable cyan, seemed to carry an ancient, heavier weight. It was said by the elders that during these cycles, Ignis Prime, their stellar parent, was dreaming, or perhaps sighing. Within these living sanctuaries, the Luminari scholars employed elegant, almost invisible, instruments that translated the star's energetic output into gentle, shimmering data streams. These ethereal projections danced among the luminous flora, weaving intricate patterns of light and shadow, allowing for a deeper, more tactile understanding of Ignis Prime's distant pulse. Each fluctuation, no matter how minute, was meticulously catalogued, forming an ever-growing tapestry of cosmic whispers. The luminari believed that in these subtle variations lay not just the star's present state, but echoes of its past and predictions of its slow, inevitable future. Their fingers, long and slender, often traced the paths of these light streams, feeling the vibrations as much as seeing them. Their connection to the star, a profound, almost spiritual symbiosis. The air itself seemed to hum with the low thrum of data processing, a sound so subtle it was more felt than heard, like the distant memory of a sigh. It was in these moments of quiet observation and deep communion that the true artistry of luminary science unfolded, merging empirical study with an innate, almost poetic sensitivity to the universe's grand rhythms. One such scholar, with eyes that held the wisdom of countless stellar cycles, observed a recurring harmonic within the energy patterns. It was a faint, almost imperceptible tremor, a rhythmic ebb and flow that had grown marginally more pronounced over recent standard cycles. This particular signature, once relegated to theoretical models of accelerated stellar decay, now manifested with a nascent clarity that stirred a quiet apprehension within the scholarly community. They understood that this subtle harmonic was a whisper from Ignis Prime's core, an ancient song of gravitational flux, slowly but surely intensifying. It wasn't an immediate threat, but a deepening of the star's slow breath, a sign that the star's internal dynamics were subtly but consistently shifting. This shift prompted a review of historical records, ancient texts etched into crystalline tablets, preserved in the city's deepest, most protected archives. These records hinted at similar patterns detected by previous generations, now serving as a somber confirmation rather than mere conjecture, guiding their present understanding with the weight of cumulative millennia of observation. Deep beneath the botanical gardens, accessible only through veiled, shimmering energy gates, lay the stellar cartography chamber. This vast, domed space served as the nexus for all observational data, its ceiling a living projection of Ignis Prime's internal structure, constantly updated with real-time energy readings. Here, the collected whispers of the star coalesced into a breathtaking, multi-layered cosmic map. Instead of plants, the chamber was adorned with colossal, crystalline data trees, their branches glowing with myriad colors, each cluster of light representing a different stratum of stellar activity. These data trees did not just store information, they actively processed and presented it, allowing the scholars to navigate through the star's intricate layers, from the turbulent convection zones to the immense, crushing pressure of its shrinking core. It was here, amidst this living tapestry of cosmic information, that the implications of the accelerating harmonic truly began to take shape, painted in light and shadow across the vast, silent expanse of the chamber. The chamber itself felt like the heart of Solara, a place where the city's consciousness interfaced directly with the magnificent, terrifying reality of its stellar home. Deep within the crystalline archives, a low, resonant hum permeated the very air, a sound born from millennia of stored knowledge. Scholars, with their elongated fingers, delicately interfaced with the luminous tablets, drawing forth more intricate layers of information. The ancient texts, once cryptic, now revealed detailed spectral signatures and gravitational models. They spoke not merely of Ignis Prime's eventual demise, but of a specific, nuanced dance of subcore currents and field fluctuations that would precede it. These patterns, depicted with elegant mathematical precision, were eerily mirrored by a newly emergent anomaly. It was a subtle, rhythmic pulsing detected in the city's primary energy conduits, a variance so faint it had initially been dismissed as background noise. Alara, an astrophysicist whose eyes held the intense focus of someone who could read a star's breath, stood before a vast, curved data screen in the Luminari Observatory. Her presence, usually calm, now held a faint undercurrent of urgency. The spectral readings from Ignis Prime, normally a symphony of harmonious energies, now contained a discordant note, a faint, persistent frequency that hummed just beneath the threshold of awareness. It was the same harmonic the ancient records had warned of, now manifesting not just as theoretical data, but as an empirical observation. Her long, slender fingers moved with practiced grace across the holographic interface, adjusting parameters, cross-referencing live feeds from the deep core probes with the refined ancient models, the city's primary stellar shielding, the very membrane separating Solara from the star's raw intensity, was registering minute pressure differentials miles below the tranquil intellectual spheres where Alara delved into theoretical decay. Kale, a seasoned city engineer, walked the pulsating arteries of Solara's structural integrity zone. His world was one of tangible pressures, of meticulously balanced energy flows, and the quiet, continuous thrum of automated repairs. The air here was warmer, tinged with the faint, metallic tang of advanced materials, and the low growl of the star's distant energies was a constant, felt presence. He oversaw a network of adaptive conduits, glowing veins of pure energy that threaded through the city's ancient, foundational layers. Recently, his diagnostic readouts had indicated a very slight, but persistent, increase in microfracture rates within the crystalline structural supports of sector Gamma-7, an older district bordering the deepest shielding layers. When Alara's initial, more urgent report of nascent instability reached him, Kale processed it through a filter of pragmatic resilience. The subtle variances in Solara's stellar shielding were not random fluctuations. Alara now understood with a chilling clarity that resonated with the ancient warnings. The rhythmic pulsing, once dismissed as mere background noise, aligned perfectly with the spectral signatures of subcore currents depicted in the Luminari's oldest archives. It was a precise, almost elegant deviation that pointed to a gradual but accelerating shift in Ignis Prime's internal dynamics. Her slender fingers, usually so sure, now hesitated for a fraction of a second over the holographic controls. The data, presented in shimmering cyan and deep violet hues across the observatory's vast screen, no longer just spoke of the star's distant fate, but of an intimate, tangible change within its very breath. The city's primary power conduits, usually a steady river of pure stellar energy, showed faint, synchronized siphons of energy directly tied to these shifting subcore patterns. The growing chorus of data, each harmonic echoing the ancient warnings, painted a clear picture for Alara. This wasn't just a minor flux. It was a fundamental shift, demanding attention beyond the observatory's shielded walls, a deeper descent into the immediate vicinity of the subcore currents was imperative, a journey few had ever undertaken, and even fewer had returned from without significant challenges. She began compiling her findings, her movements deliberate and precise, knowing that presenting this data would require more than mere observation. It would require a plan for direct engagement with the star's volatile heart. The city of Solara, in its tranquil existence, relied on a delicate understanding of its stellar cradle, and that understanding was now fractured. The primary energy conduits, visible as soft, glowing rivers beneath the city's transparent floors, shimmered faintly with the subtle discordance she had detected, a silent testament to the star's changing mood. The path forward, though fraught with peril, became clear, a deep core descent. The decision, when it finally came, was delivered with the quiet gravity befitting Solara's most critical choices. Preparations began immediately in the specialized engineering docks. Deep within one of Solara's lower sectors, shielded by layers of composite alloys and energy fields, lay the Artery Explorer, a vessel specifically designed for traversing the star's more intense internal regions. Its sleek, elongated form, usually dormant, now hummed with a low, expectant energy. Engineers, moving with a calm precision that belied the urgency, conducted final calibrations on its advanced stellar shielding and gravimetric stabilizers. Elara watched the final projections coalesce, a silent symphony of data unfurling across her console. The precise, elegant deviation in Ignis Prime's subcore currents, once a mere theoretical anomaly, now pulsed with undeniable clarity. Shimmering cyan lines traced the accelerated shift, stark against the deep violet of historical data. Each wave and tremor resonated with the ancient warnings, echoing through the translucent architecture of the observatory. Below, through the crystalline floors, the city's primary power conduits, usually a placid flow of stellar energy, now exhibited a faint, synchronized flicker, a visual testament to the subtle discordance Elara had detected. Solara, in its tranquil existence, relied on a delicate understanding of its stellar cradle, and that understanding was now fractured. The very breath of its star shifting beneath its foundations. With the data compiled, her movements became deliberate, precise, fueled by a quiet urgency. She knew presenting this evidence would require more than mere observation. It demanded a plan for direct engagement with the star's volatile heart. Leaving the vastness of the observatory, Elara moved through the city's quiet, iridescent corridors, the polished surfaces designed to reflect and diffuse the gentle, internal light of the stellar core, now seemed to hold a new gravity. Solara, a multi-layered megastructure, hummed with a low, constant energy, its self-repairing mechanisms working tirelessly. Unseen, she passed by silent, shimmering energy siphons that drew pure stellar energy directly from Ignis Prime's churning depths. Their soft hum a constant reminder of the city's impossible existence and its profound reliance on the very forces now threatening it. Her path led her deeper into Solara's administrative and planning sectors, towards the central nexus, where decisions of existential importance were forged. Her destination was a specialized chamber within the deeper planning sectors, a discrete hub often reserved for expeditions into the star's most volatile regions. The air here felt subtly different, denser, imbued with the faint tang of ionized particles that seeped through layers of shielding. Within, a circular platform glowed with a cold cyan light, illuminating the sleek, streamlined form of a deep-core submersible, the Vanguard Ascendant. Its hull, crafted from exotic star metal alloys, gleamed under the soft illumination, designed to withstand unimaginable pressures and temperatures. This vessel represented the city's apex of stellar exploration technology, a silent promise of venturing beyond the shielded walls, into the immediate vicinity of the subcore currents. Few had ever undertaken such a journey, and fewer still had returned without significant challenges. Alara paused at the chamber's entrance, gazing at the waiting submersible, the weight of her discovery, and the impending journey settling gently upon her. The iridescent corridors, previously reflecting and diffusing the gentle light, transitioned into broader pathways within Solara's administrative sectors. Here, the surfaces shifted from crystalline to a soft, almost velvety dark composite, designed to absorb extraneous light and sound, fostering an atmosphere of quiet contemplation. Gentle currents of ionized air, meticulously filtered and warmed by the star's distant energies, drifted through the expansive spaces, carrying the faintest, clean scent of ozone and the deep, rich mineral tang of the stellar core itself. Overhead, intricate patterns of slow-pulsing cyan light traced the flow of strategic information. A silent, luminous tapestry woven into the very structure of the city. This particular sector, leading to the central nexus, signaled not a busy urgency, but the measured, profound contemplation required for Solara's vital functions, where the city's impossible existence within Ignis Prime was not just understood, but constantly, calmly monitored and managed. The quiet pathways eventually opened into the grand assembly chamber, a vast, domed space carved from the densest crystalline layers deep within Solara's core. Its ceiling was not solid, but a swirling, translucent panorama of projected stellar data, constantly updated in real time by an unseen, intricate network of sensors. Instead of a bustling assembly, only a few figures occupied the central platform, the Luminari High Consensus, their forms cloaked in deep violet robes that seemed to absorb and subtly re-emit the chamber's delicate energies. Their posture was one of deep, collective thought. Their eyes, when they briefly met Alara's, held the calm, ancient wisdom born of generations living within a star's core. A low, resonant hum, far deeper than the city's constant energy thrum, emanated from the chamber's very structure. A constant, grounding sonic anchor connecting them to Ignis Prime's immense, slow pulse. This was where the city's existential rhythm was truly felt, where the fate of Solara was weighed against the star's immense, shifting gravity. With measured, deliberate steps, Alara approached the central data nexus, a shimmering pedestal of entangled light and crystalline pathways situated at the chamber's heart. She placed her data slate upon its smooth, cool surface, and with a soft, almost imperceptible surge of energy, the dormant crystalline structure awakened. Fine, vibrant cyan threads of light sprang forth from the nexus, weaving a complex, three-dimensional tapestry of Ignis Prime's subcore currents, projecting them directly into the panoramic ceiling display. The previously abstract swirl of generalized stellar data now resolved into the sharp, undeniable image of accelerated energy shifts. The elegant deviation Alara had observed in the observatory, now writ large and undeniable across the chamber's colossal dome. A subtle ripple of internal energy seemed to pass through the luminary high consensus, a collective, silent acknowledgement of the new, troubling truth now laid bare before them. The stars' fractured breath made vividly manifest the grand assembly chamber, immense and hushed, maintained its profound resonance as the luminary high consensus remained lost in their collective contemplation. The low hum, originating from the chamber's very crystalline structure, deepened imperceptibly, a constant reminder of the star's monumental presence just beyond Solara's protective shields. Above them, the projected stellar data, a shimmering cyan ocean of information, shifted with an almost imperceptible slowness, each pattern a complex, evolving equation of Ignis Prime's internal dynamics, delicate tendrils of light, like luminous neural pathways, pulsed through the translucent dome, detailing energy flows and gravitational stresses. Alara, a quiet observer among the few, felt the subtle currents of ionized air around her, a whisper against her robes, carrying the clean, sharp scent of star stuff mingled with the engineered freshness of Solara's atmosphere. Her gaze drifted across the ancient, polished surfaces of the platform, noting the embedded, almost invisible conduits that channeled the raw, immense power of the red giant directly into the city's lifeblood. Then a slight, almost imperceptible tremor rippled through the polished floor beneath Alara's feet, a whisper of a shift in the gargantuan pressures surrounding Solara. It was not a violent jolt, but a deep, foundational thrum, a momentary syncopation in the stars' otherwise rhythmic pulse. Simultaneously, one of the intricate, slow-pulsing cyan data streams overhead flickered, a brief, anomalous break in its luminous flow. The disruption was fleeting, quickly corrected by the city's self-regulating systems, but it was enough to catch Alara's trained astrophysicist's eye. The scent of ozone in the filtered air seemed to sharpen for a moment, a subtle change that only the most attuned residents of Solara might register. While the luminary high consensus remained immersed in their silent deliberation, Alara felt a prickle of unease, a familiar instinct honed by years of monitoring Ignis Prime's unpredictable heart. The momentary hesitation in the data stream and the transient shudder of the core city were gone as swiftly as they had appeared, absorbed back into Solara's ceaseless self-correction. Yet, for Alara, the event lingered. She shifted her weight almost imperceptibly, her attention now fully drawn away from the serene contemplation of the luminary and towards the deeper, unseen mechanisms of Solara's interaction with Ignis Prime. Her mind, already a repository of stellar mechanics and predictive models, began to run simulations, cataloging this brief anomaly against known patterns of stellar instability. The grand, swirling panorama of projected stellar data above continued its silent dance. But now, to Alara's perception, it carried a new, faint undertone of irregularity, a quiet discord within the immense cosmic symphony. She knew this specific flicker represented a micro-fluctuation in the plasma containment fields that shielded Solara, a system critical for their very survival within the star's core. Alara's brow furrowed almost imperceptibly as her gaze meticulously traced the flickering cyan stream overhead. It was a deviation so minor, so fleeting, that most would dismiss it as an atmospheric aberration. But her astrophysicist's eye perceived the intricate narrative within the data. The projected tendrils of light, usually flowing with perfect, serene predictability, had momentarily fractured, revealing a deeper instability. She sensed an echo of the tremor, a deep, resonant thrumming not just beneath her feet, but vibrating through the very air, carrying the faint, sharp tang of stellar plasma. This was not a random fluctuation, but a specific signature, a nascent arrhythmia in the titanic heart of Ignis Prime. Speaking of shifting pressure gradients far beyond Solara's shields, deep within Solara's foundational layers, far beneath the contemplation chambers, a network of crystalline conduits responded to the star's distant thrum. These ancient, living pathways, usually glowing with a steady, internal luminescence, now pulsed with a slightly increased urgency. Fine, nearly invisible capillary lines designed to distribute and rebalance kinetic energy subtly intensified their light, creating a web of faint, moving patterns across the dark, high-pressure walls of the deeper city. Each pulse was a calculated absorption of minute stresses, a testament to Solara's ceaseless, autonomous self-regulation. Yet it also hinted at a burgeoning demand on systems designed for eternity. The very air within Solara, typically crisp and perfectly balanced, now carried the faintest whisper of something new, a subtle, almost mineral tang that mingled with the engineered freshness. It was not a scent of emergency, but rather a slow, molecular exhalation from the city's ancient materials, enduring the ceaseless, monumental squeeze of Ignis Prime. A shimmering dust, almost imperceptible to the naked eye, drifted slowly in the faint light currents. Tiny crystalline motes, loosened by the ongoing foundational tremors. This subtle atmospheric shift, a microscopic erosion of Solara's physical being, was a testament to the star's relentless, quiet pressure, a reminder of the grand geological timescale on which Ignis Prime was slowly, inevitably unraveling. Solara's internal processing was swift, converting the raw surge of data into a more tangible, instinctual understanding. The initial flicker, the nascent arrhythmia, was now confirmed as a systemic tremor, a deeper, slower oscillation that resonated not just through her instruments, but through the very crystalline lattice of Solara itself. Her fingers, resting lightly on the holographic console, felt the faint, deep thrumming, an echo of the star's turbulent heart, finding purchase even through layers of shielding deep within the city's foundational layers. Far beneath the luminary high consensus chambers and Alara's own observation post, where the ancient living pathways had merely pulsed before, a more sophisticated, autonomous response was now actively engaging. Fine, nearly invisible capillary lines, designed to distribute and rebalance kinetic energy, which had only subtly intensified their light moments ago, now subtly broadened their luminescence, creating a mesmerizing, slow-moving web of shimmering cyan and deep violet patterns across the dark, high-pressure walls of the deeper city. This wasn't just absorption. It was a complex, microscopic dance of energy rerouting, a deliberate recalibration of Solara's internal metabolism. The city's adjustment wasn't confined to its hidden depths or the foundational layers. Its ripples propagated outwards, a pervasive, gentle wave high above, within the serene immensity of Solara's central transit corridors, where holographic projections of distant nebulae drifted lazily across colossal transparent walls. The ambient light, usually a steadfast cyan, now bore a fainter, almost subconscious warmth, a barely perceptible shift towards a soft violet. It was as if the very air had softened, taking on a richer, more profound hue. The low, harmonic hum that perpetually underscored life in Solara, a constant, comforting sonic blanket, gained a new, deeper resonance, a sound that bypassed conscious thought and registered instead as a subtle pressure against the eardrum, a gentle vibration through the soles of citizens' boots. It was the city breathing, its vast, interconnected systems working in concert, its protective energy fields subtly recalibrating to the star's deepening exhalation, like a colossal heart finding a new, slightly more laborious rhythm. Most citizens, accustomed to Solara's unwavering stability and the constant miracle of their existence within Ignis Prime, would attribute the change to a slight atmospheric shift, a variation in the projected light, or even a personal mood. Their lives, though immersed in cosmic wonder, were still governed by the familiar rhythms of daily routine. Far below Alara's lofty observation post, nestled within a heavily reinforced monitoring station, deep in Solara's sprawling sector Gamma, Kale ran diagnostics on the primary inertial dampeners. He hadn't yet seen Alara's raw astrophysical data, which remained confined to the luminary high consensus protocols. But his instruments registered a series of microfluctuations in the localized gravitational field. This was a phenomenon he usually attributed to routine stellar churn, the expected turbulence within Ignis Prime's tumultuous core. Yet, today, the patterns were subtly different, a repetitive, low-frequency oscillation that nudged the dampener's output just above baseline, requiring minute, automated adjustments. He leaned closer to a large, ethereal holographic schematic of Solara's subterranean network, tracing the vibrant flow of kinetic energy through its labyrinthine pathways. The city was certainly working harder, he mused, a low hum now resonating perceptibly through the reinforced deck plating beneath his boots. A sound that for him was less a warning and more a confirmation of Solara's incredible resilience. The pervasive shift resonated deeply within Solara's very framework, manifesting not as disruption, but as an orchestrated, gentle unfolding. Along the immense, curving arteries of the city's primary energy distribution network, which usually pulsed with a steady, bright cyan, a subtle new phenomenon emerged. Fine, filamentous threads of deep violet light now wove themselves into the brilliant cyan flow, like slow-moving, luminous veins appearing within a grand river. This new, intertwined light moved with an almost organic grace, tracing the complex paths of energy that powered every facet of Solara, from its deepest roots to its highest spires. It was a visual symphony, a quiet acknowledgement of the city's internal adjustments, a testament to its intelligent adaptability in the face of the star's slow, grand decline. Beyond the aesthetic display, the city's atmospheric processors, vast, cavernous spaces nestled beneath residential sectors, began to hum with a slightly altered frequency. These were the very lungs of Solara, meticulously filtering and enriching the stellar plasma that seeped through the protective fields, transmuting raw cosmic energy into breathable air and warmth. Now, the enormous, silently spinning purification turbines, previously casting a consistent, cool cyan glow, began to emit occasional, fleeting halos of softest violet around their colossal blades. Each rotation now carried a deeper resonance, a sound that seemed to pull at the very fabric of the high-pressure environment, yet remained utterly serene, a testament to Solara's quiet, powerful consumption of a dying star's breath. High above, where Solara's outermost defensive layers met the tumultuous plasma of Ignis Prime, specialized observation platforms became silent witnesses to the star's subtle exhalations. From these panoramic vantage points, usually bathed in the consistent, deep navy of outer space, the distant, omnipresent glow of the red giant now appeared subtly altered. The fiery, deep orange-red core, visible through layers of shimmering energy fields, seemed to pulse with a slightly longer, more drawn-out rhythm, a profound, slow heartbeat. The city's outermost shield generators, immense crystalline structures embedded in the very skin of Solara, responded with almost imperceptible shimmers of heightened cyan, a gentle, protective embrace against the star's ancient, decelerating breath. The subtle violet infusion extended beyond the main energy conduits and atmospheric processors, weaving its way into the very fabric of Solara's vibrant, curated ecosystems along the crystalline pathways that spiraled through the city's verdant recreational sectors. The indigenous bioluminescent flora, meticulously cultivated to thrive in the star's unique luminescence, began to respond with an ethereal grace. Previously, their soft, pulsing glow had mirrored the steady cyan of the city's lifeblood, a tranquil, consistent rhythm that lulled the senses and guided the eye. Now, as the faint violet threads touched their deep root systems, tracing invisible networks beneath the permeable paving stones, and illuminated their delicate leaves, a profound, yet gentle, transformation began. The delicate fronds, once a uniform cool blue that evoked the tranquil depths of a cosmic ocean, slowly deepened into rich shades of lavender and amethyst, their inner light shifting from a crisp, punctual pulse to a softer, more languid undulation, reminiscent of a slow, cosmic tide. This change wasn't sudden or jarring, but a gradual, organic shift, unfolding over the course of stellar cycles, as if the plants themselves were breathing in the new cosmic breath, internalizing its very essence and re-expressing it in a richer, deeper hue. Within the residential domes, where the luminari spent their quiet hours of reflection and rest, the atmospheric changes manifested not just as visual shifts in the ambient lighting, but as an almost imperceptible retuning of their entire sensory environment. The air, always clean, oxygen-rich, and precisely regulated to a comforting warmth, now carried a faint, sweet ozone scent, like distant starlight filtering through a cosmic garden after a gentle rain. Or perhaps the faint, clean tang of nascent crystal growth. It was a delicate aroma, utterly new to their long-established sensory memory, yet strangely comforting, settling deep within the breathable plasma that circulated through their living spaces, blending seamlessly with the familiar sense of polished synthwood and soft, organic fibers. More profoundly, many luminari, attuned to the city's subtle energies through generations of shared existence, began to notice a new, low-frequency hum. It was a deep, resonant vibration that seemed to emanate not directly from the city's vast, quiet machinery, but from the very core of the star itself, now amplified and rerouted through Solara's intricate, adaptive framework. This resonance wasn't a sound heard with the external ears, which remained in blissful, profound quiet, but a sensation felt deeply in the sternum, a gentle, pervasive pressure that vibrated through their skeletal structure and resonated with their own internal biorhythms, like a distant, deep-seated chord deep within Solara's foundational layers, far beneath the polished thoroughfares and verdant parks where daily life unfolded. The city's primary shielding strata, composed of dense, self-repairing crystalline composites, also underwent its own quiet, geological transformation. These vast, cavernous spaces, typically bathed in a utilitarian, cool white light for the occasional, hushed passage of maintenance crews, now showed a new, ephemeral glimmer that danced within the structural gloom. Microscopic crystalline filaments, previously dormant and invisible within the immense, solid matrix, began to slowly extend and interweave within the larger structural fabric, drawing sustenance from the altered energy flow and absorbing the newfound violet light. These nascent growths acted as exquisitely efficient conduits, strengthening the shields against the increasingly turbulent stellar plasma that pressed against Solara's outer membrane, creating intricate, glowing patterns that pulsed with a faint, internal luminescence, like frozen lightning caught within clear, cosmic ice, or the intricate venation of a deep-sea creature. The structural integrity, already beyond comprehension and engineered for cosmic eternities, was subtly recalibrating itself, demonstrating Solara's innate capacity for autogenesis and self-enhancement on a geological timescale. Entire sections of these deep, cavernous walls, once smooth and uniformly textured, now presented surfaces where delicate, lace-like patterns of violet light emerged, slowly spreading like a sublime frost. The subtle hum, once a mere distant chord, now seemed to ripple through the very plasma that formed Solara's breathable atmosphere, carrying with it the delicate ozone scent. It wasn't a disruption, but a deepening of the city's inherent pulse. Walls of crystalline synth materials, usually glowing with a steady cold cyan light, shimmered almost imperceptibly with faint, internal currents, as if the structures themselves were breathing. This was Solara, a miracle of adaptation thriving within the volatile heart of Ignis Prime, a red giant star in its final, magnificent decay. Every surface, every conduit, every dwelling here was meticulously tuned to the star's powerful, chaotic energies, drawing sustenance and stability from the very forces that threatened to engulf it. The luminari, ever conscious of their impossible cradle, felt this new resonance as a shared, communal experience, a silent symphony within their bones, a constant reminder of the titanic power that both sustained and contained their civilization. It was a symbiotic dance, an intricate balance between life and the cosmic furnace deep within the city's concentric layers, where the protective energy fields met the raw, turbulent plasma of Ignis Prime's core. The shimmering was more pronounced. Here, vast conduits, built from hyperdense, superconductive alloys, glowed with an intensified violet blue, visibly drawing in and channeling the star's furious energy. These weren't mere power lines, but the city's arteries, pulsating with the raw lifeblood of their sun. The luminary architects had long perfected the art of stellar harvesting, shaping the star's immense power not just for utility, but for aesthetics, creating grand, arching pathways of light that guided the eye upwards into the city's vaulted, multi-level structures. Along these glowing pathways, individuals moved with a deliberate grace, their forms illuminated by the serene, almost liquid light, their every step resonating slightly with the omnipresent stellar hum. They were beings utterly intertwined with their environment, their very essence an echo of the star's profound power. Further inward, towards what was conceptually considered Solara's deep core, though still miles removed from Ignis Prime's true fiery heart, lay the great conflux chamber. This colossal space, open to the controlled turbulence of the star's inner regions through vast, shimmering energy apertures, served as the ultimate nexus for Solara's entire power grid. Here, the ozone scent grew richer, sweeter, almost intoxicating, and the deep hum vibrated with an incredible, calming intensity, a silent roar of cosmic energy. Massive, slowly rotating crystalline structures, kilometers in diameter, floated within the chamber, bathed in a soft, ethereal orange light filtering from the external stellar plasma, gently spinning to regulate the immense energies flowing through them. It was a space designed for profound contemplation, a place where the luminari could truly feel the symbiotic pulse of their improbable home and remember the quiet, profound awe of living within a star. Each luminary dwelling, nestled within Solara's concentric layers, was a testament to symbiotic design, absorbing and diffusing the ambient stellar light through intricate luminary weave patterns embedded in the walls and floors. These weaves, visible as faint, internal currents of shifting violet and cyan, were more than mere decoration. They were living circuits, softly pulsating with Ignis Prime's controlled power. A constant, comforting presence that shaped their perceptions of time and space, blurring the lines between their artificial home and its cosmic cradle. Within these serene spaces, life unfolded with a gentle, unhurried rhythm. Families gathered around low, glowing tables, sharing meals synthesized from the stars' raw energy, their forms illuminated by the soft, responsive light. The synthesized nutrients, rich with stellar trace elements, sustained them, granting a subtle resilience to the pervasive cosmic energies. Children of Solara, with eyes that held the deep blue of nebulae and skin, faintly iridescent from constant stellar exposure, moved through these family spaces and into the wider, interconnected pathways with an innate understanding of the energy flow. They learned not through explicit lessons, but through an intuitive connection to the city's pulsating life. Their senses heightened to the subtle hums and vibrations of the core. Their games were quiet ballets of light and shadow, interacting with responsive fields that rippled across translucent floors, sending waves of energy through localized currents as they traced intricate patterns on illuminated surfaces. Their laughter, a soft, chiming echo, mingled with the gentle thrum of the core's distant energies. Beyond the domestic spheres, the city opened into vast communal chambers, their vaulted ceilings mirroring the colossal protective domes that shielded Solara from Ignis Prime's raw intensity. These spaces were often dedicated to collective contemplation or shared learning, where holographic projections of galactic phenomena danced amidst the flowing energy currents. Grand archways led from the resonance gardens to the outer rings of Solara, where the protective energy fields thinned slightly, offering awe-inspiring vistas. These observation platforms, shielded by multi-layered crystalline composites, provided direct, yet safe, glimpses into the churning, turbulent plasma of Ignis Prime. From these vantage points, the city's inhabitants would pause, not in fear, but in quiet contemplation of the titanic, beautiful furnace that was their home and their eventual destiny. Specialized holographic displays overlaid the raw stellar view, depicting intricate patterns of magnetic flux lines, temperature gradients, and nascent coronal ejections, all meticulously monitored by the city's chronomancers. These dedicated specialists, revered for their deep understanding of stellar dynamics, worked tirelessly within Solara's deepest core chambers, ensuring the great balance, the delicate equilibrium between drawing sustenance from Ignis Prime and preserving its stability. The Luminari knew their existence was tenuous, a fragile bubble of life within a cosmic inferno, but their collective spirit was one of quiet resilience. They understood that the star, in its magnificent, slow decay, was not merely a power source, but a living entity, a profound mystery they constantly sought to understand. Within these vast, luminous chambers, the children of Solara and their elders engaged in intricate dances of knowledge, their minds linking with the holographic projections that blossomed into multidimensional star charts and cosmic simulations. These weren't mere displays, but active learning fields, responsive to thought and gesture, allowing them to navigate theoretical warp currents or trace the intricate pathways of nebulae from their unique vantage point within Ignis Prime's heart. The collective consciousness of the chamber often shifted, a soft ripple of understanding passing through those present, as new insights into galactic physics or stellar evolution were gently unveiled, shared without a spoken word, a quiet communion of minds. Beyond these serene spaces dedicated to learning and contemplation, the city's intricate pathways led to the deeper, unseen veins of Solara. Its energy conduits and maintenance arteries. Here, the harvesters of light, robed figures with specialized crystalline tools, moved with a silent, measured grace. They tended to the pulsing flow of stellar energy, fine-tuning the shimmering currents that powered every facet of their home. Each adjustment was a delicate ballet, ensuring the harmonious distribution of Ignis Prime's raw power, keeping the city's heart beating with a steady, deep thrum that resonated faintly through the very floors and walls. Their work was a constant act of reverence and precise engineering, a testament to Solara's symbiotic existence. Occasionally, through reinforced, crystal-infused observation panes set within specific viewing platforms, one could gaze beyond the immediate embrace of Solara's inner domes. There, the muted, distant inferno of Ignis Prime presented itself not as a threat, but as a vast, shifting canvas of deep crimson and fiery orange, a constant, low rumble that hummed against the city's protective fields. It was a reminder of their impossible sanctuary, a delicate balance struck between profound cosmic power and the intricate technology that allowed life to flourish within its heart. The star's colossal presence, though tamed and distant, was the very breath of their world, a breathtaking spectacle of controlled chaos. Beyond the precise tending of the harvesters, Solara's very architecture was a living testament to adaptation. Great crystalline spires and sweeping arcs of self-repairing composite shimmered under internal light fields, each wall and floor engineered to absorb the immense stellar pressures, transforming destructive force into a gentle, resonant hum that permeated the city. Veins of luminescent mosses traced elegant patterns across communal spaces, exhaling purified gases that refreshed the internal atmosphere with a faint, sweet scent, a testament to Solara's delicate biological integration within its mechanical heart. This silent, constant renewal was the city's breath, a rhythmic expansion and contraction barely perceptible, yet fundamental to its impossible existence. Deeper still, where the subtle thrum softened to a barely audible whisper, lay the quiet sanctums and contemplative gardens. Here, filtered light, carefully calibrated to mimic the slow dawn and dusk of a long-forgotten planet, cascaded over tiered pools of bioluminescent water and clusters of gently swaying crystalline flora. The luminari, often solitary or in small, hushed groups, found solace in these spaces, their minds attuned to the faint, distant echoes of the stellar processes surrounding them. They practiced forms of silent meditation, drawing quiet energy from the very air, their presence a harmonious counterpoint to the city's intricate machinery. Each breath was a quiet communion, each moment a testament to their profound adaptation. The profound adaptation of Solara, however, was not without its constant vigilance. Sometimes, a faint, almost imperceptible tremor would ripple through the lowest levels of the city, a slight hesitation in the steady thrum of the harvesters. It was a subtle reminder that even in its impossible sanctuary, Solara remained nestled within a titan's final breath. These gentle oscillations, barely registered by most, were carefully monitored by a dedicated few, their senses finely tuned to the stars' ancient symphony. The very air, usually so perfectly regulated, might carry a fleeting metallic scent, a momentary shift that hinted at the deep, unseen work performed by the city's core. High above the contemplative gardens, within the silent observation spires, Alara often spent her hours. Her station, a sphere of projected data and holographic displays, hummed with a different kind of energy. Tonight, the faint metallic tang in the air had caught her attention. Her gaze, usually serene, now held a focused intensity as she sifted through streams of stellar pressure readings and spectral analyses. A specific graph charting the oscillations of Ignis Prime's core showed a minute, yet persistent, deviation from the established baseline. It was a statistical whisper, but to Alara, it was a data point that demanded full attention, a tiny tremor in the cosmic order. The deviation Alara observed wasn't sudden or violent, but a creeping shift, like a shadow lengthening imperceptibly. The holographic projections of Ignis Prime, usually a deep, stable red, showed a fractional, almost imperceptible increase in localized thermal fluctuations within its innermost layers. Her internal sensors, normally calibrated for the city's steady state, registered a faint, low-frequency resonance, a counter-frequency to the familiar hum. It was as if the ancient star itself was exhaling a little heavier, a quiet sign of its immense, slow decay, causing Solara's intricate systems to respond with an equally subtle protective adjustment, a barely audible mechanical sigh within the vastness. Alara's focus intensified, her fingers hovering over the holographic interface. She meticulously isolated the subtle, rhythmic pulse, magnifying the anomaly on the shimmering display. The deviation, which she had tentatively labeled the Igni's harmonic shift, wasn't a sudden, jarring spike, but a gradual, almost lyrical alteration in the stellar rhythm. It suggested a deeper, slower change within Igni's prime itself, not a transient energy fluctuation easily dismissed. The cold cyan light of her station reflected in her serene eyes as she cross-referenced the shift with Solara's extensive historical data, decades of careful observation, generations of luminary stellar cartographers. Yet no precedent existed for this specific pattern in the recorded history of Solara's habitation within Igni's prime. Below, within Solara's deep arteries, Kale received the automated alert. It was a low-priority chime, a soft green flicker on his comms unit, registering Alara's detailed Igni's harmonic shift report. His domain was the steady hum of the harvesters, the intricate dance of energy conduits that fed Solara, a place where raw stellar power was meticulously tamed and distributed. His environment, though equally ordered, resonated with a different rhythm. The constant, subtle vibrations of power distribution, the distant, muffled thrum of colossal machinery working in harmonious concert. He glanced at the report, his brow furrowing slightly in contemplation. To him, the data point Alara flagged, while precise, still fell within the broader spectrum of acceptable parameters, a natural microfluctuation in the titanic, unpredictable forces at play within Igni's prime. Instead of dismissing the Igni's harmonic shift, alert entirely, Kale cued a localized diagnostic sweep, targeting the adjacent stellar energy manifold, a colossal network of crystalline structures and conduits designed to draw raw power directly from Igni's prime's turbulent plasma. It was a precautionary measure, one he performed with practiced calm, but this time his focus was sharper, spurred by Alara's persistent data and his own lingering curiosity. The holographic schematic of the manifold flared to life on his primary console, intricate lines tracing the steady, controlled flow of superheated plasma. The faint shimmer of the containment fields holding the star at bay, he watched the real-time energy signatures, a slow, mesmerizing dance of light and shadow, searching for any visual anomaly, any ripple in the otherwise perfect flow that might confirm Ilara's whisper of fundamental change. The city itself, ever living, subtly adjusted to his command, a barely perceptible shift in the gentle currents of recycled air, a fractional, ambient dimming of lights in his sector, as the diagnostic drew a minuscule additional power. Ilara, wrapped in the cool embrace of her observation deck, felt the subtle resonance of the star's heart within her very being. The Igni's harmonic shift was more than a mere data point now. It was a rhythmic whisper, a complex musical phrase emerging from the background static of the star's immense energy. She meticulously overlaid the harmonic shift with Solara's geological stability reports, seeking correlation in the deep tectonic plates that formed the city's bedrock. The cyan glow of her monitors pulsed in harmony with the subtle fluctuations she traced, revealing an intricate, almost biological dance of forces previously unobserved, suggesting a slow, deep-seated transformation within Igni's prime itself, rather than a surface phenomenon. It was a pattern of such immense scale and slowness that generations might miss it. Yet Ilara, with the Luminary's advanced tools, was slowly unmasking its quiet grandeur. Below, in the Harvester networks, Kale remained immersed in the controlled chaos of raw stellar energy. The low-priority chime from Ilara's report had receded into the background, a minor harmonic in the immense, sonorous hum of the colossal machinery that continuously drew and refined the star's power. He watched as rivers of golden red plasma, harnessed and cooled, coursed through massive transparent conduits, flowing into the city's countless veins. His environment, a symphony of engineering precision, felt solid, predictable, a testament to generations of luminary ingenuity in taming the colossal forces of Igni's prime. To Kale, the Igni's harmonic shift still registered as a statistical anomaly, a small, expected ripple in a vast ocean of power that he and his teams expertly managed. Yet, even within Kale's pragmatic certainty, the faint green flicker of Ilara's report began to subtly resonate. As he ran routine diagnostics on a colossal energy regulator, its surfaces humming with potent, barely contained force, he found his gaze lingering on the distant, shimmering core of Igni's prime. Visible through a reinforced viewport, he saw the slow, cosmic dance of its inner layers, a vast, complex ballet of heat and pressure. The Igni's harmonic shift was still within acceptable parameters. Yes, but its persistent presence in Ilara's detailed report was a quiet, almost unheard question, a subtle discord in the perfect symphony of Solara's energy systems. He resolved to keep a more watchful eye on the primary stellar flux data. A barely perceptible shift in his own focused routine. Alara's gaze drifted from the monitors, past the cool cyan glow, to the distant, warm pulse of Ignis Prime's distant core. The Ignis harmonic shift, once a theoretical construct, now presented itself as a deep-seated hum that resonated through the very structure of Solara, a living echo of the stars' immense heart. She now focused on micro-fluctuations within the larger harmonic, finding subtle, almost imperceptible modulations in the data streams. These weren't merely tectonic tremors. They hinted at a redistribution of elements deep within the star's immense furnace, a slow, stately migration of matter under unimaginable pressures. It suggested a core in profound, though quiet, flux, reshaping itself from within. Her fingers, light as a feather, brushed over the holographic interface, isolating these faint signals from the surrounding stellar noise, revealing lines of pure energy shifting with the grace of ancient rivers, carving new paths through bedrock. Below, in the immense cathedrals of the Harvester networks, Kale remained surrounded by the controlled inferno. The rivers of golden red plasma, once perfectly uniform, now seemed to possess a subtle, almost imperceptible flicker within their translucent conduits. It was a deviation so minor, so fleeting, that only an engineer of his generation's honed acuity would register it. A new, low-priority alert, distinct from the usual background hum of system checks, briefly flickered on his auxiliary console. Plasma flux stability. Minor deviation detected. He dismissed it with a practiced hand gesture, his focus remaining on the grand ballet of energy extraction. Such deviations were part of the star's inherent unpredictability, routinely absorbed by Solara's robust systems. Yet a quiet, almost subliminal question stirred within him, far from the luminous command centers and the roaring harvesters. In the quiet, seldom traveled maintenance arteries that laced Solara's outer shell, a different kind of tremor stirred. These were not the controlled pulses of engineering, but a deep, resonant vibration that seemed to emanate directly from the star shell itself, subtly different from the usual ambient hum of the city. Along a deserted service tunnel where polished chrome met raw, shielded bedrock, a thin, almost invisible fissure had begun to weep minute droplets of ionized vapor, shimmering faintly with a cold, almost ghostly blue. This was a section of Solara's bedrock thought to be utterly inert, a bulwark against the star's crushing forces. The fissure was tiny, easily overlooked, but it was there, a new scar on the ancient, self-repairing skin of the city. The automatic diagnostic systems, always vigilant, registered it as a Class C structural microanomaly, prioritizing it for slow, autonomous repair. Kale's attention, though ostensibly on the larger energy flows, found itself subtly tugged. The minor deviation, a barely there tremor in the plasma current, continued its delicate dance. He zoomed in, not overtly, but with a practiced, almost unconscious shift of focus, allowing his eyes to trace the flickering edges of the golden red streams. It wasn't an anomaly that demanded immediate action, but a quiet discord in the otherwise perfect symphony of energy, a whisper. He felt the familiar thrum of Solara's core beneath his feet, a constant, comforting vibration that now seemed to carry a faint, unfamiliar echo, a new, lower frequency note. It was barely audible beneath the regular harmonic, like a shadow passing over a bright light, yet distinct enough to register as a growing unease miles above. Within the cool cyan glow of the main observatory, Alara felt a parallel pull. Her micro-fluctuations, once mere data points of elemental migration, now resonated with a peculiar rhythm. The lines of pure energy, which she had seen shifting with the grace of ancient rivers, now seemed to pulsate with an almost imperceptible irregularity. It was as if the star's colossal heart, in its slow, stately flux, was beginning to stutter. She isolated the signals further, the holographic interface shimmering with new, intricate patterns that hinted at more than just redistribution. What had seemed like a natural, if immense, geological process now suggested something more acute. A subtle perturbation in the very fabric of Ignis Prime. A faint, rhythmic instability emerging from the deep, reflecting in the faint glow on her brow. Across Solara's vast, interwoven layers, the constant, low hum of the city itself seemed to subtly deepen. It was an ambient shift, felt more than heard, a collective sigh from the megastructure's immense power systems. The subtle flicker Kale observed, the rhythmic irregularity Alara detected, began to manifest as a faint, distant shimmer in the city's omnipresent energy shields, visible only to those with an attuned eye. These protective fields, usually a steady, unblemished cyan, now carried an almost imperceptible ripple, a ghost of instability passing over their surface. Solara, a living entity cradled within the star, was beginning to feel the whispers of its cosmic parent's profound, quiet shift, a premonition settling softly over its silent, glowing spires. The barely there tremor Kale had detected now began to coalesce, a spectral whisper becoming a faint, coherent hum on his diagnostic console. He ran a deeper scan, tracing the signature not just through the primary plasma flows, but into the ancillary energy conduits that branched like luminous veins across Solara's inner layers. The golden red streams, usually a picture of perfect laminar flow, displayed an emergent harmonic, a low, resonant frequency that vibrated just beneath the city's stable thrum. It was a novel pattern, a signature not listed in any of Solara's extensive stellar decay models. His focus narrowed, his breath held almost imperceptibly as he watched the digital readout confirm what his intuition had already felt: a deviation, small yet undeniable, growing with a slow, deliberate persistence. The hum wasn't alarming, but it was new, a fresh note in an ancient symphony, slowly drawing his attention away from the predictable towards something else miles above. Alara's holographic interface in the main observatory solidified the previously vague, peculiar rhythm into a series of distinct, recurring microfluctuations in the stellar magnetic field. These weren't random, but patterned like an intricate, almost biological heartbeat deep within Ignis Prime. The lines representing elemental migration, once smooth arcs of pure energy, now showed infinitesimal, yet persistent undulations, particularly among the heavier elements settling closer to the core. It was as if the star's colossal heart, in its slow, stately flux, was beginning to stutter with a deeper, more fundamental tremor than ever before. Her analysis isolated specific isotopes, their migration paths subtly altered, hinting at forces beyond mere pressure gradients. A faint, cyan light from the display reflected in her eyes, showing not just data, but a nascent understanding of something far more profound than a simple energy redistribution. The patterns were fractal-like, complex, hinting at an underlying structural shift within the star's very fabric, unseen by either Kale or Alara in their isolated observation posts. Solara herself began to subtly acknowledge the mounting stellar unease. A deep, almost infrasonic hum resonated through the city's vast, multi-layered architecture. A new, lower frequency note that vibrated through the very bedrock of the megastructure. The ambient lighting throughout some of Solara's deeper residential districts, normally a steady, comforting glow, flickered with an infinitesimal, synchronized pulse, a collective intake of breath. Distant energy conduits, usually a constant, warm luminescence in the city's deeper veins, seemed to breathe with a barely discernible, slow, rhythmic surge, as if the city's own vast circulatory system was adjusting to a new beat. This was Solara's systemic intuition, a silent, city-wide echo of the subtle perturbation emerging from Ignis Prime's ancient heart. A gentle yet undeniable shift in the living environment that cradles